Patrick has to get that car to the start-finish line.
In front of the 81.
Essentially in front of. Now he's probably as clinched leading the most laps, which is huge. Another 5 points for Patrick Sheltra.
So Patrick Sheltra with 10 bonus points today. 5 for leading a lap, 5 for leading the most laps. Gave him a 15-point cushion over the 81 of Craig Ghost. Now Craig Ghost has not been able to lead a lap today, so no bonus points as we see Grant Enfinger with his hands full in that 09.
That would mean right now that Craig Ghost would have to beat Patrick by 3 finishing positions in this race, and then we would have a tie, and we would go to the tiebreaker to see who has the best average finish throughout the course of the season.
I don't know if my heart could handle that if we came down to a tie. Grant Enfinger trying to race with Chris Buescher in the 17. There's a loose 44 of Frank Kimmel once again, as he's got Chad Finley all over his back bumper.
A pretty loose number 29 of Chad Finley too.
Sheltra going to the outside of the slower lap traffic. It's James Hilton in the 48. Kimmel able to clear him as well as Finley also goes by. Sheltra has just 17 laps to go. Sheltra running in the 4th spot. His closest competitor in the 7th spot is Craig Ghost. Ghost making a charge for the championship. Sheltra 2 seconds in front of Craig Ghost. Again, Sheltra holding on, running in the 4th spot.
Has a little bit of a cushion over this side-by-side battle right here for the 5th position. Chad Finley works to the inside of Frank in a battle for 5th.
15 laps remain. 15 miles from the Rock to determine our champion. Again, Craig Ghost running in the 7th spot, Jim.
And he continues to get intervals and updates. He just ran the fastest lap of any car on the racetrack. His spotter is his team owner, Eddie Sharp. Eddie last year wore out a pair of shoes running up and down pit road to ensure that his race driver Justin Lofton would win that point championship by just 5 slim points. And he's encouraging his driver this year, Craig Ghost. He said, they're coming to you. Stick with it. They're coming to you. You've got a fast race car. Let's do this.
And Eddie Sharp has a quality organization. Won the championship a year ago with Justin Lofton, and now with Craig Ghost right here in contention for a title once again.
Chad Finley now is closed up to the rear bumper of the 60 of Patrick Sheltra. Same situation with Chad Finley as with Kevin Swindell. Patrick doesn't race that much with Chad Finley. He needs to give him some extra room here. We're closing in on 10 to go.
Here comes Finley to the inside of Patrick Sheltra. Down the backstretch they go, and Sheltra back out in front of Finley. Jared Johnson in the 76 goes high to allow these guys to go by.
Patrick waved out the side window and said, hey, I've got to come to the bottom. I've got a slow car in front of me. He just alerted Chad Finley that he was coming down there.
Sheltra, what an impressive season he has had. 2 wins. He went back-to-back at Springfield and Chicago. His worst finish this season was a 29th, and that was at Iowa. He backed that up with a 21st at Mansfield, and it looks like things were sliding the wrong direction. But then he got it back on track and clicked off a couple top 10s, and then got those 2 big wins at Springfield and Chicago.
Yeah, we said earlier what an incredible breakout season for Patrick Sheltra, as well as Craig Ghost and Tom Essert. All 3 of these guys in this point championship battle with terrific seasons.
Finley again trying to get by that 60 of Sheltra. Sheltra trying to hold off not only Finley, but Frank Kimmel and Craig Ghost, his closest competitor in the championship race. 30 points separate the 60 and 81 now in this fight for the championship. There is your race leader, the 41 of Ty Dillon, working around slower lap traffic.
Coming to 9 to go here for Ty Dillon. The last thing he would want to see right now is a caution flag. He has about a 2-second lead over his closest pursuer right now, Steve Arpin.
Just 4 caution flags have flown today from the Rock. A fairly clean race from start to finish. As you mentioned, 9 laps remaining. Their second, Steve Arpin. They tried a little pit strategy earlier, stayed out on older tires a little bit longer, It worked for him to get into the top 5, and now he's running second. He's 2 seconds behind Ty Dillon.
Great season nonetheless, though, for Steve Arpin. 3 wins this year as this battle for the fourth position, I should say, heats up again with Chad Finley all over the back of Patrick Sheltra.
8 laps to go. Sheltra in front of Finley, Kimmel, and Gose. Gose now has closed the gap to 1.4 seconds between he and Patrick Sheltra, but the laps continue to wind down. The time remaining in this season winding down.
Whoa.
Sheltra a little bit loose, moves up the racetrack, 3 wide. Finley to the inside, trying to take that spot away.
By the way, that white car is Craig Gose. He's caught this group right here, running fast laps.
Craig Gose behind the 44. And Gose trying to take not only the position, but potentially the championship away from Frank Kimmel and the 60 of Patrick Sheltra.
Remember, Craig has to finish 3 positions in front of Patrick Sheltra.
Again, Patrick Sheltra trying to hang on to every position he can with just 6 laps of racing to go from the Rock. Craig Gose has caught our championship leader. Frank Kimmel just in between the top 2 in points.
Frank sideways again up off of turn number 2.
Gose needs to find a way to get by that 44.
And he needs to take him with him because he needs to have Frank pass the 60th Patrick Sheltra. Remember, he has to finish 3 positions ahead of him.
And now it looks as though Patrick Sheltra has pulled out to a little bit more comfortable of a lead. Now we see Frank Kimmel move out of the way. 5 laps of racing to go. He's leaving it up to the 2 guys that are the top 2 in the points. Patrick Sheltra, Craig Gose, 1 and 2 in the points, and now running 5th and 6th on the racetrack.
Well, Craig can see him right there. He's moved up to the 6th position.
But can he get by him? That will be the big question. And not only get by him, but he's going to have to put a few cars in between he and Patrick Sheltra if he wants to win this title.
Yeah, he needs to get by him and then have some help. The time is running out.
3 laps to go. Ty Dillon has crossed the start-finish line. 3 miles remain at the Rock.
Remember, we will finish this race under green. Even if we get a caution flag after the white flag is displayed, we will have a restart.
Ty Dillon has a 3-second lead over Steve Arpin. Arpin running second. Kevin Swindell, who won the pole, now in the 3rd spot. He's 7 seconds back. 2 laps remain in the 2010 season. Can Dillon go back-to-back to victory lane? He won at Kansas a week ago. Arpin 3.5 seconds behind him. Ty Dillon hoping to see that white flag next with just 1 to go.
It has to be bad news for the ARCA Racing Series competitors. Ty Dillon planning a full-time schedule next year. 3 races this year. If he can close this out with 2 wins in a second.
He saw the white flag. He has crossed the start-finish line in the lead, and his closest competitor, Steve Arpin, looks to be slow on the racetrack. Maybe ran out of fuel.
It looks like he may have run out of fuel. Remember, we got a report that Billy did not fill that thing up. He just put just enough fuel in. I think he's out of fuel.
Potentially ran out of fuel. No fuel problems for our race leader. Ty Dillon will win at the Rock.
What an awesome job by Ty Dillon and that entire RCR team. 2 in a row.
And Patrick Sheltra coming out of turn number 4 will win his first ever championship in racing. Patrick Sheltra, your 2010 ARCA Racing Series champion.
What a great season, and the celebration is very deserved down there on pit road.
The family came to Rockingham, North Carolina, to be a part of the first ever championship for Patrick Sheltra. A family-run team getting congratulations from Justin Marks in the 32. They moved their operation to North Carolina to try to capture the championship in the ARCA Racing Series. And we see young Ty Dillon. He's got a lot of celebrating to do, and I'm sure he's going to do a lot of celebrating in his stock car career.
For a lot of years. 2 wins for Ty this year. Actually 3 wins. 2 in the ARCA Series, 1 in the K&N Pro Series East. 2 wins for his older brother Austin in the Camping World Truck Series. What a great 2010 season it's been for the Dillons.
Jim Trado, I think you've caught up with our championship crew chief,
who's finally been able to exile John Wolf. Congratulations, you are 2010 champions.
Thank you. Man, it's amazing. This team has so much heart, and we never let down all year long. Patrick Shelter never let down, and it's amazing.
When this deal came together a year ago, what did you have to put together? There was, 3 crew members he kept from Kentucky. This was a process.
Yeah, it was quite a process. We moved their team from Kentucky to Mooresville in December and put it all together, and it's been a large building process, but with the help of great people and the Shelter family, and you just can't say enough about it.
They worked hard. You went fishing, you went hunting, you went with your driver to get to know him better. Certainly it's paid off for you guys.
Yeah, he and I have become so close over this year. I'm telling you, he's like a son, like a brother, and my best friend.
Congrats, Wolfie. Enjoy. Guys.
I think it's going to be a pretty emotional victory lane for the 60 team. It's been something that's been building up. Patrick Shelter has been working all year long for this. The culmination. He'll be able to hoist the trophy at the end of the 2010 season. And when we come back, we're going to hear from our race winner. Ty Dillon goes back-to-back with the wins. Patrick Shelter, your 2010 champion.